Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your girl Amai Desire back in the building with the one and only Jazz. What's going on, girl?
Hey girl, hey, we at the grand
The
finale.
grand finale. I had to get my wine. It's on deck. If I had to choose episodes, this is by far my favorite.
Touche, I agree.
I just love the authenticity. It just felt very cohesive, and I'm kind of mad that they gave it to us at the last episode. I'll say that they started probably. Would you agree, like 6 through 8? So it's the last three.
Yes, yeah. And I mean I get it, right? You gotta you can't have every episode be a banger. You gotta have a few fillers. Like an actual movie. Movies really just last 2 hours max capacity. So having to fill in 8 hours worth of content.
It's a lot. It's a lot. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I am excited though because it felt like they finally got it together. You know what I mean? Like you see the girls in sort of a unison, like their growth has shown up, and I really like that. So we have them basically like doing a girls call. They're talking about what's going on with them. Sondi is saying that she really watched the documentary, she loved it. Whitney is saying she got her evaluation coming up, and of course our girl
Mhm.
Renee is saying, I miss you, I want you back, I don't want a divorce. And we know that for Renee, that's been building for the last couple of episodes with her, right? And I love the cliffhangers, but we'll get to that later.
Right.
So your girl Sondi decides to show up to the movie or documentary, like because she
Mhm.
said she was just gonna watch the link, but she did watch the link, but she decided to show up. And she says she's so in love with it that he actually wants to include her because she wants to interview one of the mothers as part of her doctoral, what they call those things. I can't remember. My friend would kill me because she's doing hers right now. But nonetheless, that really big reports, and y'all don't get on me for that dissertation. There we go. See, because the brain works in
Oh
weird
yeah.
ways. I just needed to jog it a little bit. And so he says, "Well, why don't you become part of the actual docu series, or documentary?"
Yeah.
And I'm working on something like we could be in this together. So she invites him to the the launch party or the sound party that Jason is throwing. And then the girls show up, her and Wit. Well, Wit actually goes to work and doesn't say what she wants to say, which I'm assuming is whether or not like it's a raise or becoming like junior associate or senior
Yeah.
associate. Because I don't know where. What do we know where Whitney stands at work? Like, do we know her
Not
title?
really. She got a high position, but even how her boss was doing the evaluation, I'm just like everything's top tier. It looks like you didn't even leave or went on a honeymoon. Like everything is just
Took it 30 days off. I know.
yeah.
I was like, is he trying to be shady? Was that like a slight
Yeah, I
comment?
was being shady when he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that you ain't supposed to touch a black woman's hair until I
That
met
part.
you."
That part. I was like, sir, chill out. Chill out. You're doing the most right now. Don't do
Right.
it. Don't do it. So we see Whitney not saying what's on her mind, which is like we feel like new for her because I feel like she always speaks her mind. And
Hmm.
then we get to Renee and she's like, y'all late. She's trying to figure out what to wear. And this is where they have a little bit of a conversation when they're like, yo, like you're the one that has to beg. You're the one that needs to apologize and be giving and forthcoming because you're the one that asked for the divorce. You're the one that put him out. And
Hmm.
I love that they actually held her accountable. What did you think about the scene?
So just as far as like her trying to like the roles are reversed because I Jason didn't want a divorce either.
Hmm.
He kind of was like simping a little bit throughout the whole season in general. Like he didn't see he was just always complying to whatever she said and just went with the flow. But I liked seeing her begging. I do. It's like fight for your man. Because that's not in her character. So I like seeing her outside her role.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I would call Jason simple though, because I feel like it's his nature. How there's some people
Yeah.
who are just willing to give, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to love. And so I like that about him. But
Yeah.
we do see them. We see initially we see Renee go down to talk to him, right, about
Hmm.
how she was ready to say that she was in love with him, and it's on the third. And then in comes India, this songwriter, songstress who's
This
all over
baddie.
Jason. And a shout out to our girl from insecure, because that's where she was from, if I remember correctly. I feel like she was insecure, and it was just a really interesting, like, seeing her all over him unknowingly and
Yeah.
intentionally to piss Renee off. Let's be very clear. Like it, like even if she was had a thing for Jason, it became
Yeah.
evidently clear that she was willing to throw it all out there because Renee was now in her presence, right?
But
Um,
it be like that though. Like actually seeing that, that's like a real thing. Cause what they say, another woman's trash is another woman's treasure.
listen,
Okay. So she sees the potential. Like, through that whole feisty fight, she was like really appreciating Jason, what Jason ain't used to. Like,
mhm.
so of course he was gonna eat that up in a
Yeah,
respectful way.
but he should have. But also, I feel like there's a weird, especially. So my thing is, especially when it comes to people who are married,
Mhm.
whether you are like, I just don't think their situation was very cut and dry. So there's some marriages where they decide they're both getting the divorce, that they are legally separated, and they have
Mhm.
decided to go about their lives. With them,
Mhm.
you could tell it was just so much mess and things were still intertwined. And so for me,
Mhm.
it just felt like, sis, you don't even know what's going on here right now. Like,
Right, right.
chill out, like just
Yeah.
chill out, like give him his flowers by all
Yeah.
means, but like it's a bit
Yeah.
much.
Boundaries.
Boundaries. And as we see, Renee pitches her idea about making it an old school subway station and,
Mhm.
giving it its just due. And she's pulling out all the stops, pulling out all the favors. She shows up and things look amazing. The girls are giving her kudos. And then we see Ola. And Ola is there and
Of
he's
course.
chilling with your boy Jason and they're having a little conversation about India. And it's like, man, it's just work. You know what I mean? It ain't even like that with it. But if Renee going trip, she going trip. That's on her. What did you think about that little comment that he made?
Because I think he just made that because we don't, well, in his perspective, he doesn't know what type of time Renee really on. She's not an emotional person, or she can't really express her feelings. So he's just like, it is what it is. I mean, she gonna do what she gonna do, and she see what she gonna see, and that's just what it is. I mean, he's kind of go with the flow type personality, anyways. Either she gonna divorce me, she gonna divorce me. If she's not, she's not. He's just go with the flow. So
Right.
that's
No,
no
I agree
problem.
with that. I think that at that point in time, he was like, man, listen, I filed the divorce. You know what I mean? It clearly stating it as if, like, I didn't want to file no damn divorce. I did it because
Mm-hmm.
I knew that's what she wanted. I ain't asking
Funny
about the dude that was flying her around because he probably bald, fat, white with a
chunk.
micro penis. He just was going in. Like, I'm like, damn, Jesus, like, come on, man. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
surprised he just said it like that though, because sometimes people can get real petty with that during a separation. Not even a real legal separation, but like it's just I mean he was real cool with it. Like he again just like all right,
I
didn't even
think
ask questions if she was smashing the dude.
nah, because listen, men are smart when it comes to that
Mhm.
arena. We know that. Men don't ask questions they don't want answers to.
True,
But
you right.
women will ask all the questions, not wanting any of the goddamn answers they get.
Right, right.
Sometimes, right? Because yeah, sometimes we do want those answers, but most of the time it's going to do more harm than it is going to do good. And if you
Exactly.
want to move forward with somebody, the less you
Hmm.
know, the better, right? So,
I
you
agree.
know, to me, I listen. I'm a Jason kind of gal. Like I don't,
Yeah.
nah. Whatever happened
Don't
outside
ask,
of me
don't
is right
tell.
inside of me. I'm good, bro. Like I don't need it. I don't need
He's
it.
protecting his peace 100%. Yes.
Absolutely, and that's what you should do. You should
Hmm.
protect your peace.
Hmm.
So we had the night go on, and Whitney sees Chris, the one guy that she's now slept with, and
Girl, look, I know a lot of people on watching this video right now can relate, but I was a little annoyed by Whitney. I was annoyed how she was just like blurting just things that did not need to be blurted. Like
so
that's the
no,
guy I
too.
I know, but we talking about growth, right? That was not a growth move.
I mean, well, no, the telling Ola part, I understand why, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes men talk, and like it would have been worse coming from him, so it
Oh,
was
true.
better that it came from her.
Because they know each
Because
other.
right, because Chris could have been like, "Damn, yo, look, that's that baddie I smashed that those couple of months ago." Because then
Right.
you know what
Yeah,
I
you're
mean. So I
right.
get it, but she had a little moment because she saw a dude and he was like, "Hey, what you doing?" She had to let him know, "We're good." Nah, bruh, it was not good. It was trash. 0 stars. Do not recommend. Okay, I didn't even get off. Listen,
I faked it.
oh,
Women fake it. Trust me, just
fake
to
it,
get rid of the body.
fake it.
Literally.
Listen, it's too much time and energy to fake. If I gotta fake it, I'm turning around and I'm telling you, I'm getting my vibrator. I just want you to know that Tracy's dog is getting ready to come out. If you want to stay, you
Right.
can. I can use you
Whew.
as a prop, but if you
That's
want to
another
leave,
juicy topic for another juicy day
girl, we're
because
gonna
we
have
could keep.
our own little once a month podcast to get all these topics off. Because listen, it's something that needs to be talked about, okay? But
Mhm.
yeah, Whitney has that moment, and we understand. But at least she makes her stance clear. Like, no, I'm never sleeping with you again, and that's cool. Whatever, move on. Now here comes the juicy part because your girl, well, let's pause for a second. So of course the dude that Sondi invited, he shows up. They have a little moment, and she says, "All right, cool. Like I'm in. Like I'm gonna do this. This is fine."
Yeah.
I like that for Sondi because it seems like she is being a little bit more spontaneous. What do you think?
Hmm. I think so too. It's just it shows her age because she's not, that old like her
Hmm.
first
Hmm.
partner. So seeing her with somebody a little bit younger is keeping her youth, keeping her just able to do things and be more creative and be and do and try new things, not just settling because of what's or what you did or thought was going to be your future. It's just like
Right.
now it's time to really do full blown exploring. This might be a new Sandy. It might be something that she was searching for in that relationship that she came out of.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I think that I like that she's trying new things because this is how you
Hmm.
learn yourself, right? In order to
Hmm.
know who you really are, you gotta try
Yeah.
new things. And so I love that for her. Okay, so the juicy part, cutting into the steak right here. Your girl India decides that she wants well, Barbara notices that she's given Renee a compliment, and Renee has not responded, and Barbara tells her like, "Hey, don't be me." Essentially, like I should have talked to Malik, and you know, I should have said what I felt, and now here I am, all these years later, and I haven't said shit, and I'm
You
still
stalking
thinking
the
about
profile.
it. Right, I'm still thinking
Yeah.
about it. And so she said, "It's clear she's still in love with this man. Like now's the time to say what you feel and to go after it." And so your girl India doing the most, doing the most. Okay,
she trying to lock and load, okay?
she trying real hard. She throwing everything at him at this point,
Hmm.
and she decides to sing "I Want to Be Down" to Jason. Now, for a second, I thought that Whitney and Sondi was going to stop Renee from going up on stage. I'm glad it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it could have, to be quite
Yeah.
honest, right? Because I thought
Same.
it might have been a little bit of rumble on the stage.
Yeah.
But who knew your girl could sing?
Yeah.
You
Both of
know,
them.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting something completely. I actually really, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's probably my favorite part of the episode. She's up
Yeah.
there singing. Renee's like, "Nah, bro, you ain't finna do this now with my man." Okay, no, my
Yeah.
man. She comes up there. She grabs the mic. She sings the second verse, and then Sondi and Wit hit the chorus, and
Yeah.
Barb hits the Queen Latifah version. Okay, come through, Barb, with the Queen
I
Latifah. Yeah,
know.
listen, I'm all about that part. About this length, about this width. I'm like, hey, okay, I'm getting into it. I'm like, echo, play. It's like, nah.
Right.
I love that part. What did you think?
I was cheesing the whole entire time. I'm just like, yes, show her, let her know, put her in her place, check her. That's all I was saying. Like, get her. But to be honest, I thought that Renee had a kind of a voice to her. All that mouth, all that gums. Usually they be having a little vocal range. So shout out to Renee for the vocals. Okay, we enjoyed that.
I loved it. I loved it. And so of course, the guy has to ask, yo, is this our night, or is this like a versus? Like, what's happening here? And
Versus.
Jason pulls Renee to the side, and he's like, "What's going on? It's supposed to be about the band." Da da da. She's like, "I don't want a divorce. I don't want a divorce. I still love you. I'm sorry, Whitney. Please take lessons on how you actually apologize to somebody. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't want this. And." I really love that for her because I like that they made her say like it takes me a while to be soft and vulnerable and shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because that's real. That's real
that's a
for a
real
lot of
thing.
people.
Mm.
Um, were you expecting Jason to say what he said, like his response?
No, I think that was like the gas moment. It was like either he's gonna be like, nah, I'm in love with the other shawty,
Right.
or
Right.
yeah, let's make it work. But for him to like, propose again, I thought that was a little cheesy. That's why hence the smiling through the whole
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. I
Cause
would have
some
preferred for
men,
Renee to propose. She didn't have to get down on one knee, but she should have asked just because,
yeah,
it's
are you
a
gonna
fuck
let
up.
me
But
do
I
it?
get it. I get
Yeah. So I mean, he did it. Being the dude, the character that we know of him,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Because if he
totally
was off,
different.
right, if he was off some gangster stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's out of the norm.
Right, right.
Like, okay. But I thought it was well played out. It was really, really cute. I enjoyed it. Y'all let us know what y'all thought about that because we want to
I I really did love it. I did love it, and I love that that everybody was watching. Right, it became a moment, and I think even for Ola, for a quick second, he was like, "Damn."
we saw him through his little beady old head in the back, like this is like Whitney or somebody, and then you see his little head right here.
Hmm.
Oh, he watching. They
Yeah,
made sure.
I was like, what's going on here, Ola? Okay. But yeah, I love that, and I love that they were able to come back. The band was able to take a moment. He was like, love is in the air, but like love is on stage. And boom,
Yeah.
they went into the song. All right, cool, whatever. Get the little other shawty up out of here because she was annoying and doing the most. Um, and then we have a moving on to bigger and better things scene where Jason and Renee are in the tub. They're having a moment, and
Hmm.
he says, "If we're gonna start over and do this thing right, can we go to therapy?" Essentially, is what he's asking. Can we see a professional? She says yes.
Hmm.
He makes a joke about the AC, and she says no. They laugh, and then she says, "Anything else?" And he says yes. And we don't know what it is until we get to the next scene. All the girls are
Yeah.
meeting up, and Whitney says, "I told Ola who it was, and everything is out of the bag. I can, truth, everything's out there now. I've been honest. I'm good."
Hmm. Hmm.
Sondi says, "I'm taking a semester off." Very different than the Sondi who was like, in order to focus, I can't be going through this with you and your daughter when she was with Matthew.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because that definitely surprised me.
I see. So for me, I got a perspective on college and school as it is, so I'm not gonna get into depth with that. Okay. In my mind, I'm like, good. Let's lower your debts a little bit. Let's take a break off of the reoccurring deficits. But it was more like, there you go. Now you got time to do the fun stuff. Now you
Mhm.
get to do the stuff that's not so structured. You can just do it the way that you want to do it. So I was proud of her for that. I'm like, dang, that's gonna really change her. Her taking on that project is gonna change her. And if and when we see the next season coming up, I can't wait to see how she's gonna be with the Rashad dude, because I think that might be something spicy. Trust me, spicy
Okay.
flowing.
Okay. I think that it might be spicy too, but we'll see because Sandy is Sandy is Sandy. Okay, that's all I got for that one.
Right,
And finally, your girl, everybody says, Whitney, Renee, you're awfully quiet. Tell us
right.
what's going on. We know you and Jason had your own celebratory night, and she says Jason changed his mind. And I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't want to get married. And then she says he wants a baby.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought first in the tub. Because it's like, now that you trying to rekindle a marriage, and then most of the time guys would say that, especially if you're like in a place where you don't have to hustle as much, or when you go to like up the mountain, you make it to the top. Right now they're making it at the top right now. So it's like, all right, what's next after being all the way at the top?
Hmm.
So I mean, I can see why he hit her with that.
I want to know, I can't remember, and those of you who have watched and will comment, please tell me if in season 1 they mention the the Renee not wanting kids part, cuz I don't know if I remember that,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that it's given Renee pause, I'm interested to see like how that builds out, what that looks at, as far as season 3 is concerned. We haven't heard anything here, folks, whether or not there is going to be a season 3, but we're just going based off the episode that we
Mm-hmm.
saw. There is something to be had there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it's interesting. We do know and we respect that all women do not want to be mothers, right?
Yeah.
I respect those who want to be mothers. I respect those who
Yeah.
don't want to be mothers. I respect those who want to adopt, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's very interesting for the man to bring this up. You know what I mean? Because it's different. Most of the time, people would say that the woman brings up having children, and so for it to be kind of reversed in this way.
Yeah.
Um, we know that he's passionate about it, obviously, right? And it means a lot to him. But I will say that this conversation, I love this conversation because it almost I don't have a similar situation, but I think that it's interesting when you do decide to rekindle or to go to try again. The purpose of trying again is to try again differently, right?
Yeah.
With new ideas and new perspectives of each
Right.
other. And so I like that they are willing to ask each other questions and see what it is that that they do want as individuals and as a couple,
Mm-hmm.
so that things do move differently.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is going to be a deal breaker for Renee?
I don't know. It might be something for her to reevaluate, right? I mean, I never wanted kids, and I got two now. I was literally the one who's like, me with kids. Hell no. Look,
Yeah.
I'm too young. I'm not. I'm too tired. And I said this at like 17, 18, boop,
Oh my
19, got a
gosh.
baby. Okay. But she might change her mind. Like how I have my perspective with kids now. I love kids. Now that I have kids,
Mhm.
I love them. But it was never my initial goal
Right.
either. So who knows? People change.
I
I mean,
agree.
if it was meant, it was meant. If it wasn't, it wasn't. If it isn't, it isn't.
Yeah.
Again, she should be like Jason. Just go with the flow. Go with the flow. Okay.
Jason, like, listen,
More
I
toxic
wanna
Jason.
give this to, I wanna give to I wanna have a family, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I think that it's a very interesting dynamic. I love
Mhm.
the growth that we've had in the last 3 episodes. I love the growth this season. Um, what do you think for, like, if we do have a season 3? What would you like to see happen?
I want to see Olu and Whitney, rekindle
Oh,
their
you going
friendship.
for Ola Whitney? Oh,
I want them
friendship.
to, yeah, I want them to like do some rekindling. While they was in a photo booth, they had a little moment. It looked like he wanted to hit that in the photo booth. A little like, ooh, girl, let me contain myself. I'm just giving you my reaction because I'm the reaction side here. We got
Okay.
the psychological reviewers. I'm like, look, because there's people like me. I'd be like, yo, girl, if you don't back that up a little bit more until
Listen, okay, skirt, skirt. All right, okay.
and then
Um,
I hope that Sondi really excels at her podcast documentaries, that maybe she may not even trip over going back to the university and
mhm.
just do well with, because she's very successful, very smart, very intelligent. She's gonna see her confidence outshine in that project. I believe so if they do
Right,
make it. Or
right.
she might go through bumps in the roads and dealing with this young dude that's like 20 years old or something.
Hmm. It's a young buck, that's for
Get a
sure.
J Lo on, girl. I ain't mad at it.
All
Age
right.
ain't nothing about a number now.
Listen, I agree, I agree. But then they always do that one thing that be like, damn, you is
Right.
listening, ain't you? It's
Irritating.
like, girl, off as like almost immediately. You be like,
Right. Like I'm not turned on.
you
Like
really
this.
showing your age right now. It's disrespectful. I definitely feel like I would love to see. I think that I feel like Ola and Whitney at some point in time might get back together. I feel like they're gonna learn each other as friends, and
Mhm.
they'll realize that they actually do like who they actually are, because they were faking it for so long on both sides of the spectrum, trying to be something that I don't think they really were. Perfection is
Mhm.
just non-existent in any form of reality, in any universe, in any galaxy. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Um, so I'm with you there. Like, they will have a friendship that might kind of turn into something else. I
You
feel
gonna
like
hit it
with
one good time. You gonna hit it one good time.
he gotta
And
make up for the time he hit it and left, though, because we're not gonna forget about that. That was the last time they had sex, because my man hit it, and then first of all, I watched that episode with the guy I'm dating, and off Bucks, he was like, "Oh yeah, he about to turn her around, put her head in the pillow, because he don't want to see her face, because like he mad." I'm like, and every little thing he said, literally just step by step happened, and I was like, "So you did this before? Like, so what's happening here?"
right.
Um, but I think that Sondi is going to find herself. She'll find out that she doesn't need her doctorate as much as she wants her doctorate, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I think that that'll be helpful to her to relax and just kind of ease into it if she decides to go back to school. And then
Yeah.
with Renee, I think she has to have a real conversation with herself, and I'd like to see her do I'd like to see her do individual therapy, and we've seen them do it before, but I'd
Yeah.
like to see them, her specifically, do it in a way where it's actually genuine and open and vulnerable
Mhm.
to getting to doing something different. You know what I mean?
Right.
To
Right.
finding a different part of herself. And I don't know. I mean, if that's not her thing, if she doesn't want kids, I don't want her to be in a marriage that's not for her.
Yeah.
But so for her and Jason, I don't know. I would essentially, my point would be, I want both of them to be happy, and whatever
Yeah.
that looks like for them is what that looks
Yeah.
like. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I
So
agree.
y'all know what to do. Drop them in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. We're gonna be there with you when this drops live, and we'll be in the comments with you, talking with you, and giving y'all our thoughts. And until next time, we love y'all. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having us.
I
Um,
know. It was
we will
fun.
be back. I know we'll be back with another Amaya Jazz shenanigans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
And
you know where to find us though. Right. I Look Pretty Jazz on IG,
yeah.
YouTube. Same with Amaya. You tell them
Yeah,
where they can find
my
you.
desire, and y'all gonna see the name, because I'm not gonna spell it for y'all, because it's mad crazy. So just right here, somewhere down here is where it'll be, and y'all know how to find me. And until next time, you can always
Bye.
find us at Big Old Belt Media. Peace, y'all.